Hey traders, John Howell here, going to give you a quick market update. So let's make this quick. Let's get straight into it. Do not place a trade based on what you're seeing in this video today, because trading is risky and it can cause substantial financial loss. There are so many areas you need to become good at to become a good trader. Emotional mastery, chart reading, trading systems, money and trade management. So this video is just educational only to help you become a much better trader. Alright, so let's get straight into it. The S&P 500, all the indices are basically, between 0.5% and 1% for the update and what we see in the markets right now. So the S&P 500, if I bring this right up a bit closer, which I don't normally do, but let me just show you this here. You can see what happened here during the day. Now, what actually happened during the day, and let me actually show you this here. And let me actually bring this chart up here, and I'll show you what I see. So I actually have several different screens, and I keep an eye on the daily charts, the hourly charts, and you can see this is just one of my other screens that I have on the side. And I just keep this on one of my screens, and I can see overall what the SPY's doing, gold's doing. I probably should add some more here as well too, such as oil and all that sort of stuff. But here's the major US indexes that I'm trying to keep an eye on. Now the hourly chart, as you can see here with the hourly charts, with the SPY and stuff like that. If you look at here on the S&P 500, you can actually really see what happened is the market ran up during on sort of first thing in the morning. That was from basically from 9 through to 10, it ran up, had a bit of run up, and then we pulled back. And as you can see, we pulled back into negative territory. And then the last 2 hours, as you can see, this last hour bar here, and the last hour bar, last 2 hours, because these are all hourly charts. And for you guys that say, for some of you guys that say, man, John, you speak so fast, I just can't help it. I get so excited about the markets and learning and growing and stuff like that. I just get so excited. So unfortunately, I can't help it when I speak so fast. I apologize about that, but get excited. You should be excited too. So as you can see with the S&P 500, you can see we actually had a nice run to the high side. So basically for the whole day, we spent going down, and then the last 2 hours, we really started to turn around. You can see that on the S&P 500, on the Nasdaq as well too. You can see here the same thing, but it gapped up in a lot more, came down, and then created this sort of bar here. It's very interesting, guys, that if you actually have a look, especially, I'll get to that in a minute. Dow Jones, very similar thing as well too. We pulled back, and the Russell, you can see the Russell. What happened with the Russell? Now this is an overall sort of daily, weekly support line around here. You can see the Russell came down, held it once, came up, it came down, it popped up on the open, pulled down to actually almost its lows. So it actually went lower than these other indices, and then we started to run up to the high side. And now, which is showing a lot of weakness there. But one thing I want to show you guys, yesterday I was talking to you about analyzing the bar and itself, and you can see here, right? I was trading the last 2 hours of market close this morning, and I was watching this chart here on one of my screens, and I could see this come up and close here. So even like for the S&P up here, I can see how this opened, it ran down, like this thing's getting weak, and it come back up and closed there. I'm like, this thing's getting ready to take off. So to open, it came down and then came back up, and then I was getting ready to enter in here and then sort of take it to the high side just for a short little trade. But on the futures as well too, the even the futures, we just kept going bam, 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 bam. The buys came right in at the very last minute. Very similar to what actually happened yesterday, because this is yesterday's last hour and yesterday's last second hour. And as you can see, that we had some movement to the downside, and then the last couple of hours, boom, we came out of nowhere. Especially the last hour, the last half an hour or so, we really started to move to the high side. So you can see that same this is one as well too. And when the market runs up and sort of gives you a reversal right there, what I have noticed, guys, is that if you are trading, say the E-mini S&P 500 and stuff like that, those sort of markets, if you are getting in and getting out, one thing I have noticed is that, and I traded E-mini S&P just by itself at night time, or during the day as well too, for a long time. And one thing I realized is that if all of the indices, S&P, Dow Jones, Nasdaq, and Russell, if all of the indices are doing one thing, the same thing together, then that's a very, very, very powerful setup. For example, if all of the Dow, S&P 500, Nasdaq, and the Russell, if they all go down to a support level, then the market's likely to hold that support level, at least for the short term. Make sense? And as you can see, what happened here, especially on the, let's have a look here, on the Russell, we actually had a bit of reversal bar here. Same with the Nasdaq, so same with the Dow Jones, same with the S&P, and same with the Nasdaq. So anyway, guys, I will let's move this screen over to the other one of my other screens, and let's get back to the daily chart. So what we can see here, guys, this is the daily chart. We're just looking at the hourly chart just then, and you can see with the S&P, pretty much a nothing day. Looking on through to the Dow Jones, you can see pretty much a nothing day as well too. Moving on to the Russell, basically you know, again, that was the worst of them all. I am expecting at least some movement to the high side, potentially. You just don't know the way this market's moving, and look how weak that chart looks, right? So I definitely want to be a buyer in this market, and also the Nasdaq as well too. So one thing I want to share with you guys is if I squeeze this up and I take everything off the screen here, and we just look at the chart for what it is, and I squeeze this up. Let me move this over a little bit more so we can see this. And let me squeeze this up. So looking at this chart, guys, if we have a look at this here, let me see because I'm trying to share this with you. It's like, what is likely to happen next on this chart? So, and I won't keep you guys too long, but I want to share with you. Okay, so we can see this on the Nasdaq. So let me actually bring up my trend line drawing tools as well again. Let me go to. Let me just make this thick. So I'm just making this thick on my end. So you can see what's happened here, right? The markets ran up, came down, came back up, came down, came back up, and then now we've dropped down through here, right? So that's a very, very, very weak sign. So I'm saying either two scenarios is likely to happen right here. Either two scenarios. One, we actually have a run up towards these resistance levels and we get rejected, so we run up through these levels and then we get rejected and we come straight back down. That's the first case scenario that I see happening. Second case scenario I see happening, and let me change this color here so we can get a bit more of a different, is that the buyers don't do anything and we just start to do this. We just start to fiddle around for a week and then boom, down we go. So that's what I see. That's my two cases scenario. No, I don't have a bullish view right now. I don't. If we start breaking above this resistance line, then yes, I've got to start turning more bullish, or at least looking at some bullishness signs. But the market's showing weakness. Every single chart on the S&P 5 or on the US indices is showing weakness, and the same for the S&P, even the Dow Jones. You can see, right, we've had a big run down through here, and so I'm expecting either two things. I'm expecting either a run up, and then a rejecting off, or I'm expecting, let's go blue, or I'm expecting maybe a bit of a channel formation forming through here. Okay, we've actually had this form like a bit of a bear flag, and then down we go again, and then if that happens, that's when we'll start to see some significant downward movement once again, and maybe even this point right here is where we start to see some bad news coming out of the markets, and you know, this company defaulted and all that sort of stuff. You know, that's what happens in bear markets. You hear all that sort of stuff in the news. So fear. So anyway, guys, so that's my two cases scenario. I don't believe that this is just a pullback before we see a run to the high side. Looking at the overall major charts and looking at the weekly charts that I've shown in the past, to me, this looks very, very weak. Hey, it's John Howell here, and thanks so much for watching my video. You see, I'm putting out daily videos and education on helping you learning the art of successful trading. So click on the subscribe button to keep up to date with every video I do. Also, check out my story video, $250,000 in debt, cancer, overweight, family passing away, lived on the streets, and more, and how I overcome it and now thriving through my life. This is here to motivate you, so click on that image to watch my video. And lastly, if you're struggling with your trading, then you need to see my latest webinar where I'm sharing with you an amazing strategy that allows you to generate an income without getting the direction right. So click on that image on this page to register for my next free webinar. This is John Howell here. Remember, success can be yours if you go claim it. So step up, take massive action, and face your fears today.